Hello, virtual friends. How are you? They arrived just in time for me to show them something super cool. For those who don't know me, I'm Hurox. But I'm not a little ferret. Ha 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 ha. I am a child like all of you. Only since I'm a FlexFlix VTuber, to do my streamings, I use this cool avatar. Today I want to tell you about something that happened to me the other day. It turns out that over the weekend, while taking a walk with my family, we passed by a fire station. And we decided to go inside. The firefighters were there and they were super nice. They told me about their work and, best of all, they let me get on one of their trucks. Yes, really. It was so high I felt like I could touch the clouds. Just imagine. A lot of buttons, levers, and when they let me turn on the siren. The whole neighborhood must have heard it. Ha 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 ha. My heart was beating so fast, I felt like I was in a movie. It was an experience I will never forget. So that brings me to what I want to share with you today. But first, I don't want to forget to tell you that in today's stream, after learning more about poems, we are going to use an artificial intelligence tool to continue learning about this topic. This tool is called Natural Readers, and it's great because it converts text to speech. But don't get ahead of yourselves. I know they're very curious, but we're going to have to wait a while to get to that part, guys. Well, what did I tell you? It turns out that the other day at school, the teacher gave us a very curious challenge. She asked us to write a poem about something cool that happened to us over the weekend. I thought, how do I do that? Because there were so many things that I enjoyed, but I didn't know how to put them into words that rhymed and sounded nice. And that's when the light bulb went off. I said, why not explore this super interesting topic with my virtual friends on FlexFlix? What do you think? But before we dive into the world of poetry, there are a few things to keep in mind, folks. And for that, we're going to use our FlexFlix Magic Notebook. Have you ever had such a special notebook that always answers your questions? It's so cool. And to use it, we just need to have the app downloaded on a cell phone or tablet. If you're up for it, let's write something together. Okay, and now let's put... Hello, Chad. I am Hurox, and I'm 8 years old. Today, we're going to learn about poetry with my friends. Is there anything we should know before we move on with the topic? Okay, great, guys. Let's see what he has to say. Remember, if you need more time to write to him, you can pause the video. Look, here's my answer. I'll read it to you. Hi, Hurox. Poetry is like painting or drawing, but instead of using colors, we use words to create a work of art. Although there are many types of poems that have specific rules, there are also others that are more free, like when you draw in your sketchbook without following an exact mold. Thus, some poetry may sound like songs because the words rhyme or have a special rhythm, but others may simply be words put together that tell a story. Most importantly, poetry is a very special way to play with words to express what you feel and think. Wow, now we're talking, my friends. I think we're ready to watch the video about poetry. Let's explore FlexFlix and look for the video on this topic. You know that on FlexFlix we always find the best videos. Look, here's one that I think we can use. Let's watch it.
We're at the library because we're going to read a very particular kind of text. We're going to read poetry. Does anybody know a poem?
My granny is always
Wow.
reading poetry.
Well, I'll read some fragments of poems to see what they have in common. This is a fragment from a poem by Edward Lear called The Table and the Chair. Said the table to the chair, "You can hardly be aware how I suffer from the heat and from chilblains on my feet. If we took a little walk, we might have a little talk. Pray I let us take the air," said the table to the chair.
It's beautiful.
I'm glad you liked it. Now let's examine how it has been written. Is there anything peculiar about it?
Yes, that it is written in rows, one phrase below the other, but the line hasn't finished yet.
Great observation. That's one of the features of poetry. It's got a different way of writing. The phrase written on each line is called line. Full stops are placed at the end of the line. Each separated group of lines is called a verse. I've just read only a verse in my poem.
At the beginning, there is the title. This poem is called
Oh, I
The
get it.
Table and the Chair.
Good. And who wrote this poem?
Edward Lear.
Excellent! It's very important to start learning about some authors.
I noticed that the verse begins and finishes
I
with
get
the
it.
same phrase. Said the table to the chair.
Yes, the repetition of some lines in poetry adds particular beauty to it.
Oh, right. Guys, now that we've talked about poetry, I got to thinking about my school assignment. Remember I told you about writing a poem about my weekend? Well, now I understand that it's not just telling what I did, but how I tell it and how the words sound together. It's a challenge, but I know that with what we learned today, I could do much better. Why? I used to think poetry was just putting pretty words together, but now I see it's like putting a puzzle together. Each word has its place, and if I do it right, I can convey exactly what I feel. It's like having a superpower to express myself in a special way. And you know what, my friends? There's something else new we're going to discover together. An artificial intelligence tool called natural readers. For those of you who aren't aware, I'll tell you that artificial intelligence is like a brilliant virtual best friend who is always ready to help us. But it is also important to remember that artificial intelligence cannot replace human critical thinking. That's why we always have to work as a team with artificial intelligence tools. And now, guys, we've come to my favorite part of the stream. We're going to learn how to use an amazing AI tool. As we saw at the beginning, we're going to use the Natural Readers tool. We're going to create our poem, and this tool will read it out loud to us. Let's get to work, folks. It occurs to me that I can do the poem my teacher asked me to do about my experience at the firehouse. It's going to be great! Well, first to create the poem, I'm going to log into my FlexFlix magic notebook. I'm going to write... Chat. Now I would like to ask you to help me write a poem about my experience in a firehouse. I would like the poem to tell my excitement of seeing the truck. You seeing the lights, pushing the buttons, and feeling like a real hero of the city. Perfect. Good. Okay. Let's see what he answers my friends. Let's see. Perfect. There it is. That's great. We've got our poem. Now we are ready to go to the Natural Readers website. Well, the first thing we have to do is search for the tool in our favorite search engine. So I'm going to type Natural Readers. Perfect. Once inside, we have to click on Get Started. Here. And I'm going to choose the personal option. Now, we're going to log in with our email address or our parents' email address. Perfect. And now we're going to delete this text that appears here so we can paste our poem. Like this. Perfect. And now we can choose the voice we want to be read to us. Just click on the picture here. You will see that there are several options and languages. I'm going to choose this one here. Now we press play, and that's it.
At the firehouse, a whole world to explore. A bright red truck, ready to start. Lights flash, illuminating the station. My heart beats fast, full of excitement. I climb into the big truck, so tall and majestic.
Wow!
I push the buttons, I feel powerful. The sirens resound, a call to action. I'm a brave hero, full of admiration. See the bright lights, feel the adrenaline. In the firehouse, excitement looms. An unforgettable day, an experience like no other. To be a hero of the city is something phenomenal.
Wow! Fascinating. And the best thing is that with the arrows on the sides of the play button, we can go forward or backward in the text. We can even choose the reading speed. The things we can achieve thanks to AI tools are really cool. I loved how the poem turned out, folks. I'm going to show it to the teacher tomorrow. But don't go yet. Wait a little while because we're not done yet. before we say goodbye, let's test our knowledge learned in today's stream with a fun FlexFlix trivia. Are you ready to prove everything you've learned about poetry? Let's go! What literary genre is The Table and the Chair by Edward Lear? A short story, a fable, or a poem? The Table and the Chair is poetry. I'm very, very sure. That's right. Well done. Excellent. Good. Let's go to the next one. How is the poetry written? In verses all in a row without pause or separated by syllables? The poetry is written in verses, I seem to remember. That's right. Well done, folks. That's awesome. Good. Let's go with the last one. I'm ready. Can lines be repeated in a poem? Yes, it gives it a particular beauty. No, it is forbidden. Or no, because it looks bad. I would say yes. It gives it a particular beauty. That's right. Awesome, folks. Well done. Ha ha ha. Wow. Hey guys, what a fabulous trivia. Hehehe. What an exciting stream we had today, guys. We learned about poetry. And we had fun using artificial intelligence tools to reinforce everything we learned about this topic. And now we've reached the end of the stream, but I want you to know that I had a great time. Thank you so much for connecting to my virtual world. But before I say goodbye, I wanted to remind you how important it is that you download the FlexFlix app. Don't waste any more time, my friends. Download the app. And we'll see you again in my next stream. See you next time, my friends. I love you so much. Bye.